Hey, how you doing, VC? It's Glowing Double O Cabbage Jeff back for another video. It's been close to a week now since I made my last video. I'm just trying to keep these a little bit more frequent in comparison to what they were like before. But I've only got like 6 records to show. I really want to just show records that I've actually listened to recently and have a good. They're in my head, you know. But I've been really enjoying revisiting my collection a lot, and I've also bought some new records from record stores that have recently opened up here in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada, which is where I'm doing this video from. We're lucky we don't have any cases right now of COVID-19. Everybody that had it has recovered, and not one person has passed away from it in our province here in Canada. So it's good. Oh, and look at the shirt I'm wearing. All the VC vets will remember this shirt. Are you in it? The vinyl community. Are you in it? Anyway, all right. So the first record in these 6 records is a jazz record, and it's one that, this is another thing that I've been trying to do with my collection, is listen to records that I haven't really, like, that have sort of been forgotten for a while. I hadn't listened to them in a long time. And this is a case in point. This is called Trio Music by Chick Corea, Miroslav Vitous, and Roy Haynes. It was, I will warn you that I will be looking down this way at my notes. I used to do this a long time ago, and I think I'm going to get back to it because it just helps me understand and remember what I want to say about each record. So this is a 2 LP ECM record released in 1982, and it's a 2-record set, and the first record is all trio improvisations. So they made it a point not to discuss what they wanted to do before they recorded, and they just went for it. And it's very varied. It has like some some really kind of free elements to it, like not like really nuts, but just just exploring the space and stuff. And they have some really traditional kind of sounds as well, some really great stops and starts where I don't even know how they're doing this. It's like telepathic. It's just incredible, actually. And another thing, so on the second record of this are Thelonious Monk's interpretations, the music of Thelonious Monk. There we go, right there. There's side 1 and side 2, and it is by far my favorite. I love Monk. Monk is one of my favorite jazz musicians. I just love his percussive nature when it comes to piano. And anyway, so here are the main players there. You can check that out. And so what else did I have here written for this? Oh yeah, all the tunes are improvised except for one of the ones on the first record called Slippery When Wet, and I guess they had sort of a motif that they had worked out beforehand, like just before though, and then just went for it. But this is a great record, and as usual, ECM records, I find they sound impeccable. I don't really have like a super expensive system, so I can't really tell whether or not a record sounds really great. It all sounds kind of decent to me. I don't know. I don't have an audiophile ear for some reason, but anyway, what a fantastic record. So it's Chick Corea, Miroslav Vitous, and Roy Haynes on the ECM label. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic. All right, so that is the first record, and then I said this at the onset of this record or this video that I'm going to be jumping around in genres, and this is another one that I'm going to be jumping around on, and I forget the name of the journalist, but there was a journalist that wrote about post-punk, and he coined the phrase post-punk, and in that pantheon of groups was this band called Bark Psychosis. And I picked this up. It's damaged on the bottom. I got a great price on it. It's a 2 LP set. I got it for $12.99. I'm after the music. I don't care about I care, but I will pay $12 for a 2 LP record set if it's damaged on the cover. But anyways, I did that, and this is an amazing album. It's called Interdependency, and it's released in 2019, but it was recorded much earlier than that, in 1989 to 1992, before their debut album Hex. And this is a phenomenal album. Like the musicianship and the use of space and the jazz elements on this, and the full-on like groove orientated tunes that are on here. Honestly, this is an incredible album. I'm very impressed with it. And what this album does is it collects all the singles that they recorded before they released their very first album, and it's just exquisite post-punk with lots of jazz elements and spacious, innovative music. UK-based band, and this is it's incredible. And the whole last side of the second album is a 21-minute song called Scum, which is fantastic. But honestly, like, another tune that's really great on here is called Blood Rush. It's, if I remember correctly, it's really slow, like unfolding. You know, it's one of those wait for it tunes. Like you just have to, it just builds and builds and builds to the point where you're just like waiting for it to come together. And when it does, it's just, oh, it's so great, man. Anyway, Bark Psychosis, UK-based band. I do believe this was released in 2019 as a Record Store Day exclusive, but I don't know. I'm not certain of that, and I did also read when I was doing research on this album that the main singer, Sutton, I believe his last name is, he did not endorse this. Like this was not on his, it wasn't given his blessing to be released or whatever. So I don't know how legitimate this album is, but anyways, the music, I'm so happy that they released it because it's absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't heard this album, just check it out. It'll sort of, for me anyways, it reinvented my whole concept and idea of what post-punk is. So if that is any indication as to what this album sounds like, it's great. All right, so moving on to another possibly illegitimate record. I don't know. I see these things and I'm just like, I have to have this, because I'm like many other people out there in the vinyl community, love the electric era of Miles Davis. Well, one of my absolute favorite phases that Miles Davis went through was when he was trying to, he's trying to court the black audience with his music. He wanted them in his court. Like he wanted him, he wanted them to listen to him. And so he released this album called On the Corner. And this is live, recorded from from a radio station called WBCN Broadcast 1972 Live at Paul's Mall. So this is Miles Davis live, and it's not, I will say, it's not the best sounding album live recording. But it is recorded live, so you get what you get. You get what you get. It does sound muffled and a little bit like, it's not unlistenable, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but just so you know, you audiophiles out there, I don't know if this is up your alley for quality of audio, but it was for me. I didn't mind it. So on this album, you have on bass, you got Michael Henderson, drums Al Foster, guitar Reggie Lucas, keyboards Cedric Lawson, percussion James Matumbe, Foreman, saxophone Carlos Garnett, sitar Kyle Balakrishna, and tabla Battle Roy, and trumpet Miles Davis. So there you go. It's great, and this is the track listing that is on there. Introduction, Black Satin, Rated X, Honky Tonk, Right On, and Sanctuary. I forgot to mention too that I'm trying to avoid copyright strikes, so I'm just playing my own music in the background. I don't even know if you can hear it, but I just like to have something for myself in the background. But so this is on. I did some research on this, and it had been released on splatter color vinyl and stuff like this, but this is just black vinyl. It's just on black vinyl. But I like black vinyl. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have my record on black vinyl than color vinyl, and I get nothing against color vinyl. It's just, I don't know, I prefer just the traditional looking vinyl, you know. And I hate it when they don't go back in their freaking sleeves properly. Anyway, Miles Davis. You can probably find a lot of these. I got one of these that is on the what's that album? What's that album label? I think they're completely illegitimate too. They're all in clear. They're clear plastic sleeves. Like I can't remember the name of that. Anyways, whatever. Anyway, Miles Davis. Okay, and another, like, I'm so happy to have this record in the collection because I can't believe it wasn't, like, for so long. I just picked this up. It's a reissue of Tribe Called Quest's Midnight Marauders. Arguably one of the best hip hop albums ever made. You know, just critics say. I don't necessarily think it is. Nothing against it, but I have my love is with Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of Millions. But I am not a hip hop aficionado or anything like that. But I know that this one was supposed to be in my collection. I'm glad it is now. This was released in 1993. And I do believe this is just a recent reissue. Again, I do believe it is on the original label, Jive Records. I could be wrong. I couldn't find anything on the back to say otherwise, to see Jive. But, I mean, it's their third studio album. It has, like, jazz, funk, soul, R&B, samples, and just an excellent flow. Q-Tip had a lot to do with the recording of this album, and honestly, it is an essential album. And all of the who's who in both East and West, I do believe, this is before the big beef between East and West, and they're all featured here. Anyway, it was supposed to be one of the last unifying elements of hip hop before the East and West crap happened. All right, so. Again, switching gears completely. This is not hip hop. This is a local group that I've had this for a while, but this is one of the ones that I, revisited recently. This is a group called Cousins, and they're like, I do believe they're a husband and wife duo. The singer, guitarist is the husband, and the drummer is the wife, and this is Cousins. And the Halls of Wickwire, I do believe this is their third album, released in 2014. It's very indie, upbeat indie, melodic indie. Reminds me a little bit of Mates of State or something like that. But it was an album released after the singer's what was his name? The singer Aaron Mangles, when his grandmother died, and they dedicated this album to her, and this is her right there, and this is her dedication. But it's really infectious, great hooks, great riffs, and just it's a fantastic album. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's not really super well known, I guess, outside of New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. But anyways, it's really interesting. It's a great album, and I enjoyed listening to this today. Okay, so just one more record, everybody. And this is arguably one of the records that I have in my collection. And I picked this up at my local record store probably like 10 years ago. And it was just in the bottom, forgotten records for $1. And I really like ethnographic, albums that, like, from other places, because I just find it amazing, because music is the heartbeat of a community and of a people, basically. So I picked this up just out of complete curiosity. It ended up being one of the happiest records I think I've ever heard in my life. I cannot put this record on without cheering up if I'm in a shitty mood or whatever. But this is Jali Musa Jawara, and he is a master of the Kora, and this is on Oval Records, released in 1986. I do believe this is an original UK pressing of this album, and it's there's nice, really long, like there's only 2 songs per side, and they just they really go places, and it's just the funnest, most upbeat record that I own, to be honest. I love it so much. So yeah, that's a great one. There's the back too, and there's Musa Jawari right there playing the kora. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, friends in the vinyl community and on YouTube. I'm going to be making some more videos hopefully soon. I have a few current UK jazz records to show. If you haven't seen Fred Big Star 1000's 3-part series on UK jazz, definitely check that out. It's an education worth getting. For me, it was anyways. I hardly knew anything about that stuff, but about UK jazz. Like, I know I have some Nucleus albums and whatnot, but I mean, and some John McLaughlin, but definitely check his channel out, Big Star 1000. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody, and please leave a comment. Let's get that conversation happening. Take care. Bye-bye.